See, see, you guys are magically have appeared after the intro. Hey guys, welcome to another, or not another, but the second in a row Sunday night chat before the 9 o'clock hour, where we have Sanjay, who's here, um, for doing. He's got his Watch Soup, which is a great, great show, and he's also playing a little backup just in case the kids start crying and I gotta jump off. He'll do like the emergency backup hosting. Sanjay, how are you, my friend?
Very
Welcome.
good, sir. Thanks for having me. It's good to be with you again, and it's still our watch soup, okay?
Yeah, okay, you got it. What do you have on wrist, my friend?
I am wearing the Tudor Blackberry 58.
Ah, yes. I own that
Beautiful.
watch. I love
Yeah,
that watch. I love that
one. I'm
watch.
hoping Dib is wearing it too.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Well, he's either wearing that one. Well, he didn't know you were coming on tonight.
Right.
So,
Hmm.
but in all fairness, he didn't know. So we'll see what he's wearing. AB from Watch Collecting Strategy YouTube channel. How are you, my friend? Thanks for joining us tonight, man.
I'm doing well, man. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me.
Yeah. Anytime. Anytime. What do you got on wrist tonight?
I've got what I'm calling the final stages of a watch.
Oh,
You know, you you
Oh.
br you briefly told me that we're gonna be talking about collecting strategies. So
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
have in my strategy something called the final stages, where I consistently wear a watch I'm selling to make sure I actually want to sell it. So we can talk about that later,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. No,
final
that's
stages.
That's very, very interesting. No, we'll definitely touch up on
Yeah.
that and discuss your watch collecting strategy if you have one for next year. Dib, okay, take two. Last week we kind of had to cut it short, but I'm glad you're able to come back on. How are you today, my friend?
Um, Doing well,
Yeah.
busy. I have to get my bags packed tonight, otherwise, I know I'll be rushing on tomorrow. I'm
Yeah.
leaving on Tuesday
Yeah.
to India,
Yeah.
so have the sub on today just for your,
Yeah. That's right.
honor.
Yes.
I did have the Blue Bay 58 on Sanjay, but removed it, wore the Rolex.
yeah.
Sorry, Rolex.
Oh well. Next time.
I got, of course, my the Yub Mariner
Very
wearing
nice.
on today. Um, let's say hello to some of the guys in the chat before we jump into the topic tonight, the discussion. Before we hand it off to Sanjay over at 9 o'clock hour for Watch Soup. Dan is here. How are you, Dan? Hey, Chaz, what's going on? Bill K, what is up? AZ Clayton, how you doing, buddy? Hey, Joe, how you doing? Mountain Standard Time, yo, he's picking up his new
Nice.
no date yubby pickup tomorrow. Yo, bros, we will be, yeah, bro. I just love how this has now become the Yub Mariner in our group. It's pretty funny. Um,
all because of Yoma Shop.
yeah, well because I said Yo Mashab instead of
yeah.
Joe Mashab on a Watch Soup 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Uh, hey, Kevin, how you doing? Thomas, what is up? Thank you, sir, for joining us. Ken, checking in from Pittsburgh. Hey, here's Jeffy. Jeffrey here. How you doing, buddy? Watch food with me. Dib looks like he's 5 years old without a beard.
Oh
Um,
goodness.
don't worry. By the end of the episode, he'll look like he's 50 because the beard will start growing in.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah, that's my friend Sagar, so he knows me.
yeah. What's up, Craig? Thanks for joining us. Bobby's here. How are you, Bob? B Dev, what is going on? Wilson is here. Roar the Tiger and hi, Bobby. Awesome, awesome. So, I've been thinking a lot lately about, um, what my collecting strategy will be next year, and it was actually kicked into overdrive, right, because of Black Friday, and we can get into this as well with you guys if you saw anything on Black Friday. Um, some people will say there wasn't really a lot of sales. I don't know. I was kind of like looking at one of the watches. One of the watches I was looking at was very toxic, and so I could have had a good deal. I could have had the deal, right? But I'm sure I could have it next year. But I have a couple things going on, personally. positive things where like the money is kind of like needs to be focused in another direction. And I realized that I'm missing out on Black Friday. I also missed out on Black Friday last year, and I bring this up because I think deals can be done, especially when you're maybe, or for me, adding some pieces to the collection to help round it out, right? So, for example, I want to create a sub collection or start a sub collection for um, watches named after, or models named after places that I've been. So Monaco, I know Monaco's Tagore Monaco is named after the race, but Monaco, the city, right? I've been, or the country. I've been to Monaco, right? Um, and another example is Frank Muller Casablanca. And there are always deals to be made with the Casablanca, right? And there was a particularly good one that was online on Friday, and I was like, "Oh man, I really want to pull the trigger. I think I could get a really good deal," um, but I stopped myself, and so it got me thinking, man, I don't want to put myself in a position next year where these opportunities can come up on, let's say, Black Friday, and either the budget's blown or something else is coming up, and it's kind of affecting my overall watch strategy. Now there's many layers to that, but instead of me going through all that right now, I want to know if you guys have any kind of watch strategy for collecting next year. Like for Sanjay, like no car accidents, right? That's part of the strategy,
Yeah.
right? No,
Yeah.
no car accidents for you. But other than that, Sanjay, what are you thinking about next year? Um, yeah,
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about December, my December strategy. What's gonna
but
happen?
there's time left at the end of the year. I
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah.
But for next year, I mean, I feel like I said this at the beginning of last year. Um, I really need to branch out and try, IWC. I need to try out JLC. And I really want to branch out from my comfort zone. So
Mhm.
my comfort zone has been Grand Seiko, Zenith Omega, and I'm kind of stuck there. Zenith wasn't in my comfort zone, so I kind of branched out, I guess. Now that I have the A384, but next year I really want to, step further out, and try those guys. Maybe even an independent. Who knows? Maybe I hope
Mhm.
to make a Moser happen, but
Ooh.
but
Okay.
then pieces would have to get chopped to get there.
Mhm.
So I don't know what'll happen. Um, but yeah, so strategy right now is to branch out, try new things, collect more experiences.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Buy a
that
Santos.
Yes, yes.
that word
Right,
is
right.
ruined.
You just triggered Dib. But now, Sanjay, are you happy with the size of your collection? Do you think that you can even expand further, trying these other brands, or would you consolidate a little bit more so you can make that jump?
um I am really happy with the size of my collection right now.
Mm,
Everything feels like I don't have the too many watches anxiety going on.
yeah.
I think I have around six pieces that are core, and a couple that are inexpensive and are like ladies Seikos that I don't mind wearing. 34 millimeter, but yeah. So I mean, if I feel like if I did balloon my collection a bit more, I would start to get that anxiety. Um, and the tricky part is that I really love every piece in my collection. Uh, if I had to chop one, it would be the sector dial.
Mhm.
But I don't really want to even do that. So, yeah, I mean, I'm still on the honeymoon with the Grand Seiko Winter and the El Primero.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's hard to really look past the honeymoon phase
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
Mm.
I'm happy with the collection size. I don't really want to go bigger at the moment.
I feel like me and you are kind of the same, like
Yeah.
in the same mindset. I feel when I have like a bigger collection, it's I don't know if anxiety is the right word, um, but I stop caring about the watches I own,
Hmm.
as opposed to when I have a smaller collection. So
Mm,
when I have like I like to keep it preferably around 4 watches, believe it or not. And
Yeah.
you know, you can say you're not a geek if it's only 4, but I have my reasons, right?
Mhm.
And I completely understand what you're saying, because when I have like 10, 15, first of all, I do get anxiety because you know, I'm not a millionaire. So it kind of, when I look at the watches, you can't help but look at the monetary value, and you're like,
Right.
oh my God, this is $7,000 and you're not even wearing it, you know? And also, like I said, you just stop caring. But when you have a small collection, it's easier for, like, me and you, I feel we have very similar strategies where it's very easy for us to switch out watches,
Mhm.
because we can actually sit down and think what we want with our collection, as opposed to, I guess, like you said, having that anxiety,
Yeah,
you know?
I hear you.
You know, I always like 6 watches. That's it. But
Yeah.
right now I have 9. I don't mind it,
Mhm.
but what I've experienced is that the watches which are a bit older, they don't get that much wrist time. You know, I love my Navi timer. I love it, but I don't remember wearing it in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
I just look at it. You know, it's a nice looking watch.
Yeah.
You know, glance at it. You know what? Nice good, but no, I'm not doing anything. And to your point, Bobby, why didn't you get a Squale Montauk? You wanted something from, you know, Fleeces, so get an excellent Swiss watch. Oh, I can't say that out loud, right?
Well, you said something about like older watches and loving them and not wearing them. Like, I feel that same way, the same about my Girard Perregaux and my Panerai. They've been in my collection for over 10 years. I don't, I can't imagine myself selling them. I wouldn't get much anyway for them, but I love them. I don't wear them a lot, so it's almost like I see past them. You know what I mean? Like I don't see them there. It's like the car on the side of the road that has like the weeds growing over it. Like you don't even see it. You see like the rest of the mountains. You know what I mean? So, um, that's an interesting point. But AB, now getting to you, tell us what your strategy is going forward to the next year, or if you've expand about it a little bit, and then tell us about what you started off the show with the like it's almost like you put a watch in hospice care, and spending time with them right before you let go. Please.
Okay, well, I mean, clearly, if you know my channel, I
Yeah.
better have a watch collecting strategy, right? Or else my channel makes no
Yeah.
sense.
This episode was made for you. So
I mean, the reason I started the channel, honestly, it was never going to be a review channel. That's the interesting part. Um, my concept when I first started was to interview a lot of collectors, and my interest was more on how people collect and their mindsets and the way they structure their collections, more than the watches themselves, weirdly enough.
Hmm.
But then I quickly learned that a random small YouTuber with less than 100 subscribers asking a bunch of high profile collectors to do an interview, they didn't really respond at first, So I was like, okay, I better take this to a different direction. But with me, I found that my collecting strategy pretty much changes on a yearly basis. But I do have, I say, 3 to 4 rules that I never break.
Okay.
And my first one is I don't buy vintage.
Okay.
I've been burnt way too much, and I've educated myself so much about vintage to know enough that I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't care if it's a Daytona Paul Newman. I don't care how special people tell me. There's a lot. If I went into vintage, there's a lot of pieces I want. First thing I would buy is important movements. Like a Caliber 89 by IWC and so on, and the 8541. But that's my first rule. So my first, I guess, strategy is to stay away from vintage, purely because it also ties in to stay away from hype, and the second thing I tend to do is I and this is a rule I do not break. I don't impulse buy. And that's a rule, a strategy that I keep in line. That's why when you said Black Friday, I was like, that's one of the reasons why I'm pretty calm during Black Friday, because I used to impulse buy a lot. And my biggest regrets and my biggest downfalls in my collection has been from impulse purchases. Whether it's a good watch, a watch people said was great, bad watch, whatever, it always never ended up well. I've never had an impulse buy where I was like, oh, I'm happy,
Yeah.
So that's part of my strategy. And an interesting thing I do, and I've been doing this for about 3 years now, and it's helped me a lot. And it actually came from a good friend of mine who's a collector, so I can't take any credit for this. But what I do when I purchase a watch, I put, and my girlfriend doesn't like this, by the way, because I'll explain why. I put my wallpaper for a month or 2 months as that watch,
Okay.
and so I stare at that watch every day, because you're always on your phone. Like, if you check how many times you're on your phone, like, you're probably on your phone 6-7 hours a day. So when you look at that watch every day, even though it's technically not in hand, if you get sick of it within a week or two while it's on your wallpaper, you're going to get sick of it fast when you actually own it. Sometimes that isn't really the case, but it has worked for me so far. Like, I'll have a watch that I really want, but if I have it in my wallpaper and after 2 weeks I'm not feeling it anymore, then I save myself a lot of money.
That's really interesting. I think I may practice that. I like that idea.
It works.
Hey, Kelly, thanks for the super chat. Good evening, guys. Kelly, I don't know if you know this. AB, I have a bigger forehead than Kelly. I beat her a couple weeks ago. We had a forehead measuring
How could
contest.
That receding hairline might have something to do with it.
Well, the thing is, I've had receding hairline since I was like 14 years old. So I've had a big forehead for a while.
I honestly don't know how to respond to that.
No, just soak it in, man. Just soak it in.
Okay.
It's a rhetorical statement.
I have a pretty big forehead, I think.
Nah, you got nothing on me, man.
Well, and
We'll get the measuring tape out soon.
No, I got it here somewhere.
So,
I'm pretty sure I could beat you.
This is the reason when I go back to India, I stay at my parents' place. My mom has a regimen, and every day without fail, she'll have her own concoction of some shit. Oils, which she'll put on my head. Like it actually helps, but yeah, I mean, you can't really stop me going bald. My grandfather was bald. My dad is going bald. So
it's a losing battle, man.
Yeah, it's a losing battle.
Thomas had a quick question, AB, before you continue, about, or not a quick question, but a comment of Sanjay's A384 chronograph that you have. Sanjay is such a sweet watch, one to really savor. Yeah, very awesome watch for sure.
Really.
So AB, continue, please. So we have the no impulse buying, no vintage, wallpaper of the watch that you're interested in. And then what else do you have?
So I'm going to, for 2022, I'm going to buy a 4 watch box, an expensive one.
Okay.
And I'm not buying an expensive one to flex, because nobody's gonna see that box anyway,
Right.
But there's a really nice watch box, and I've like Sanjay's been getting into pens, I've been getting into watch boxes. Apparently that's another rabbit hole. But anyway, I want to buy a 4 watch box. There's a German guy who makes some incredible watch boxes, and I'm trying to get him to make me a custom one of 4. The reason I'm doing that is, if I spend so much money on a watch box, I will force myself to follow that rule of 4 watches only.
Okay.
Will that work? Probably not, but
Yeah.
that's the way I want to do it, and I feel like that will help a lot. It's also an excuse to buy a nice watch box, but um, my goal for 2022 is 4 pieces, and I already have it in my head what I want it to be, and that's the reason I'm selling the Royal Oak. I'm not selling the Royal Oak because I don't love the watch. This is the first time I'm breaking another rule of mine, a collecting strategy rule, I guess, is that don't sell watches you still love.
Yeah.
Right. But then the watch nerd kind of kicks in, right? You start to look at the value of this piece. You start to be like, okay, it's a cool stainless steel watch, iconic, whatever, but what can I get for this money?
Yeah.
You know, then your mind starts calculating, like, and you start to see the pieces you could be adding to your collection as opposed to this one. And I'm sure we've all been there, whether we want to admit it or not. You know, sometimes you look at a watch and its value and you kind of think, oh, I could possibly get something, you know, a little horologically better. So, and the last thing, I guess, is complications and movements. I really, you know, I'm blessed. I'm more than blessed to say that I get to experience some of the best watches in the world, you know, and I don't take that for granted. However, I've learned that from a review perspective, getting to experience these watches for a few hours, a few days, is very different from getting to experience these pieces, you know, from it like daily, you know, for a couple months at a time. And I learned that from my Longa.
Yeah.
Right. I don't need to really say much about the Longa. You know, we're all aware that Longa is one of the best manufacturers in the world for movements. And I realized that no matter what types of watches I experience, some of them, like if you don't own and you don't get to experience different types of complications and movements, you don't get to actually appreciate them as much. You know, and it's weird for me to say, but for example, my 1815, because I own it, I appreciate it more than when I experienced the triple split datograph. Right, which is crazy for me to say. You know, 5370p Patek Philippe double split. I mean, sorry, Rattrapant. It's crazy for me to say, like, this piece I get so much enjoyment out of, even though technically you're still experiencing the complication and stuff. So that's my final thing. I could go on and on, but that's my final. I want to experience more complications and different types of movements. It doesn't have to be expensive, you know, just different types.
So then, but and to wrap it up, you spend time with you're spending time with this watch now, right? You're spending time with the Royal Oak to see if it's basically something you want to give up, or is this a long goodbye?
Okay, yeah. I guess I have to address that. You know, I tried to avoid it, but you okay. I am selling my Royal Oak, okay, and I don't want to be one of those guys because look, I've seen what happens to Bruce Williams when he flips his watches. You know, we're weirdos, okay. Let me just say this: watch collectors, like I get offended when Sanjay flips his watches. You know, I get deeply offended. I'm like, Sanjay, I'm offended. And so I've only had this Royal Oak for 2 months.
Yeah,
and when I purchased it, I don't want to talk about the finances so much.
No,
but
you don't have to. Yeah,
it was a good price. Okay, I couldn't pass it up, and the Royal Oak was kind of planned purchase, but also in the same time, I've wanted this Royal Oak for about 4 or 5 years. But when the opportunity came up, I had to take that opportunity, and then discover later on if I really wanted the piece or not. And this is a unique situation where I love this watch. Dude, if you want the Royal Oak and you're thinking about, like, you have smaller wrists, the 15450 is the best watch you can buy because the 15202 is astronomical right now. Like, you're not getting a 15202 unless you have so much money that you don't care about. You know, 100 grand at a minimum to get into the 39 millimeters. But the 37, I don't know if you can see that. It fits so well. This watch is so comfortable, reliable, but I'm selling it. And like I said, I'm not going to get into finances, but let's be real here. What this watch is selling for now, I love it, but
Yeah.
I don't love it that much.
Yeah.
Like at this point, I'm like, okay. And I was even texting Amin and a few other guys, like showing them the kinds of watches you can get if I traded this Royal Oak,
Yeah. I hear
right?
ya.
And I was sending like 2 watch combos, a JLC Duometra and like a Vacheron calendar watch, and a bunch of different stuff. So the final thing is I have the final stage concept that I came up with,
Mhm.
and that is to wear a watch for 2 weeks straight before you sell it.
Yeah.
I do have this listed, but I wear it for 2 weeks because I've regretted so many watches that I've sold. So many. I can't even
Yeah.
count. It's
Mhm.
depressing.
Yeah.
And my only way to try to combat that is by basically wearing this for 2 weeks to make sure, okay, I'm okay with selling you.
Mhm.
You're good to go. Go
Yeah.
off to college.
I have this picture in my mind of you putting a little blanket on it, on the watch, and feeding it soup, and
Giving it a
out of
kiss.
giving it a little kiss tonight, and saying it's gonna be okay. And
Bobby, I don't have kids. You have kids, and for me, I'd like to think that sending this watch off is the same feeling like sending your kids off to college.
okay,
The same thing, right? They're babies.
yeah. Okay. B-Dev, let's face it. Some of us don't have a strategy. We just buy what we like. Yeah. I mean, I think you can buy what you like and still have a strategy per se. I need a strategy because I need to stay focused. If I don't, then I'm all over the place, and then I feel out of control. I mean, that's the only reason why I'm thinking strategy.
Hmm.
Hey, Detroit Spartan, how you doing? What's going on? Hey, Justin's here. What's up? Kelly is saying, by that same concept, I may request my husband to remove my face from his lock screen so he doesn't get sick of me.
That's
That's
good.
awesome. That's awesome. Um,
Well,
let's
one thing I
see.
wanted to say was
Yeah, please do.
about AB. I've heard those, except for the watch box thing. I've heard those strategies or those rules of yours like 2 years ago, I think. So you're remarkably consistent.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say
Yeah.
that's impressive. But
Well, all I'll say is, what are rules?
Yeah. Well, you like to
You,
break
you,
rules, Deb, for
you
sure.
live only once.
All right.
My
Here
rules
we
are,
go.
I don't buy vintage because I've never been burned, thankfully, but I just don't know enough to be. I'm not an expert, so I don't do that. But impulse buys, as long as you're buying right. See, I mean, I don't dabble in the higher end stuff. I mean, the most expensive watch I have is a Zenith. But like I usually dabble in the like the sub $1,000 range. That's my quick fix, as I've always said. I buy right, and I
Mhm.
usually sell it, break even, or there's a little bit of loss.
Yeah.
But I get, well, you guys know how many watches I've bought and sold, especially as a private individual, which I'm not going to say on YouTube, but it's a lot. So I won't say I get to experience it because that term has been ruined. But it is interesting, and when I bought so many watches over the last 2 years, I know what I want now because I bought so many. And in the last 2 years, I think it has crossed 200. So
Yeah.
Wow.
it's just that it gives you a clarity as to what you want,
Mhm.
what you might need, how many months you might need it for, how many years you might need it for. So you guys know that I bought this Christopher Ward just for my
Yeah.
trip to India. I'll come back, put it on sale, and it's gone. It
Yeah.
serves a purpose.
Hmm.
The Doxa, yes, I had a Doxa phase. It'll thou shall pass. So Doxa will come. It'll stay for the next few months. Summer, once summer goes away, that's gone.
Wait, I
So
have a question. I have to stop you there. Did you buy that Christopher Ward knowing that you were gonna sell it?
yeah,
Is that what you said? Uh, okay, that's that. So my question is, with Christopher Ward specifically, um, did you kind of think that if you liked it, you would kind of keep it, or did you already have it set? You just wanted to, so you could go wear it to India? Because I've done that before. Like I would go back to Egypt and stuff, and I would buy something more affordable because I don't really want to wear certain types of pieces in Cairo. You know what I mean?
So in India, honestly, I've worn my Rolex everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody gives nobody gives a damn because people think it's fake.
Mm-hmm.
So and I don't maintain a huge lavish lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So the Christopher Ward, the main reason I got it was I did not want to spend too much. I
Mm-hmm.
actually made an offer on a Grand Seiko, the new generation quartz model,
Mm-hmm.
and then I canceled it because I just did not want to spend too much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for a Bad Girl or a Pepsi. Uh, don't know when that will come, but that's the Rolex game. But I just knew that it won't stay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I have a couple of pieces that which I'll move next year too, just to
Mm-hmm.
get some watch capital back.
Mhm.
I've always wanted a Panerai, and Panerai has come out with 3 watches in 40 millimeters.
Mm-hmm.
White dial, black dial, and blue dial. I still don't know which one I'll get, but I know I'll get one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Christopher Ward is a nice placeholder for the Batgirl. I really like that watch. I've actually never seen it before until recently. It's I couldn't really see from your screen, but it's the one that kind of looks like an Explorer 2, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's an Explorer
Yeah.
copy.
Oh, it's a beautiful watch, dude.
Yeah.
It's an excellent watch, but I
Mhm.
don't use the word homage. I'll just use
Mhm.
the word copy.
Yeah.
You know,
Lone Star Watch Collector 2000. Hey, thank you so much, Lone Star. And rumor has it Bobby Legs loves watches. It's true. I do. And
I've
thanks,
heard
man. I
that too.
appreciate that. Um. So okay, Dib. Do you okay? So what do you have a brand in mind? So you went through your Doxa phase. You're a Seiko diehard fan. I would say throughout through and through. Do you see yourself getting into a brand next year, um, almost like how you got into Doxa this year? I mean, is this something that is piquing your interest, that you can go
so
off the deep end very, very quickly?
very, very quickly, finances are a big thing. So
Yeah.
Doxa, Doxa prices are at a price point where I'm comfortable spending, for 6 watches, and then I realize I spent Daytona money on 6 Doxas, and that's the time when I kind of reduce it all back down. I don't know if there's any brand which I would get multiple models of. Maybe except Rolex, but that's a sad story anyway.
Hmm.
Because the more we collect Rolex, then the only thing that we have in the back of our mind is not even the profits. Oh, if I sell it, can I get one back
Right.
at the price I bought it for, which it would be retail for me because I don't want to pay gray market prices. But other than that, I I don't know any watch brand that I would like to explore. IWC would be one, but most of their watches are too big for my skinny wrist. I would love to get multiple watches from their brand, like the Big Pilot, the Mojave, the new one that came out. I love all those watches, but it would look ridiculous on my wrist. So
You have the Mark 18, right?
I have the Mark 16. Yes,
16. Okay.
that's like one of the most perfect everyday watches. It's a very legible dial, and due to it not having a bezel, it feels really large, and especially on a skinny wrist.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make the joke which comes after that, but I'll leave it to your imagination.
James is saying AB strategy fails when he decides to buy a second expensive watch box to match the first.
My friend, I already have like 6 watch boxes. It has already failed.
You'd be like Mark from Long Island Watch and buy a watch chest.
Dude,
Ooh.
Sanjay, it's bad when you have more watch boxes than you have watches. You know, that's how bad it gets.
Hey, soon you'll be into furniture.
I love furniture.
Yeah.
IKEA special right here.
Guys, Bobby's got a great question here. Does being a YouTuber make you collect watches differently because of the pressure to produce content? So Sanjay, let's what do you think?
It used to. I used to flip specifically to have new watches to make new videos, new reviews for. Um, and I figured, I'm not going to really chase YouTube stardom or whatever. I had to think to myself and say, look, hey, is this a hobby or is this a job? If it's a job, then go ahead and
Yeah.
keep buying and flipping and and make the content. If it's a hobby, this is becoming not fun. So, dial back the videos, have the streams, have fun with everyone, chat with everyone. And yeah, don't let the YouTube channel dictate your collection. So
Yeah.
that's where I am now. So, but it used to, I used to flip,
Yeah.
specifically to have videos. So,
Wow. Yeah. AB.
At the moment, no. I'm blessed to have partnered with a lot of people that I get my fix. I'm actually behind like 40, 50 videos. So that's a problem. And I will say this. I've purchased, and thank God, nothing expensive, like a few Seikos for the channel. Because I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to get views. Like, oh yeah, people want to see this review, right? And I'll gladly admit that, sometimes as a YouTuber, it's not, insane to want to get more views, because you put so much work into this stuff.
Sure.
And it was the worst feeling in the world to buy something just to produce content. It was honestly the worst feeling for me personally in this entire watch collecting hobby, because it goes against everything in my I know this sounds like it goes against everything in my watch collecting philosophy, I guess, or like the way I collect. It goes against it completely. So I don't feel pressured whatsoever, and I also don't feel pressured to produce, at least anymore, to produce content of what I think people want to see. So
yeah, I'm great explanations by both of you guys. Yeah, I mean, I was at a point I used to buy watches to flip them to make videos, and I'm kind of getting away from that. I think I mean, every once in a while I'll buy a G-Shock because I like it, and also because I think it will make a good video. But mostly I am dependent on the community, and gratefully so, for lending in watches for me to review. My biggest expense now is mail, right? Shipping back and forth. But you're right, Sanjay. I mean, at some point you have to ask yourself, is this a full-time job or a hobby? And for me, this is a hobby. So I have a full-time job, right? So I got to treat it, accordingly. And I have so much fun. This is the best part. This is, to me, my favorite thing to do now. I still like doing reviews. I still like, especially watches that I like. But hanging out with you guys, that's the best. That's the best.
Absolutely.
Under achieving watch collector, my rule is do not buy a watch when the bank account is low. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a tough one. But,
Makes
do
sense.
what America does, put it on credit.
Yeah, but
That's
you get an interest free for 18 months.
You get
It's not so
cash
bad.
back.
You get cash back.
Yeah.
Ramen noodles for a few months.
Yeah, so what? You don't have to eat.
Who needs protein?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Let's see here. Let me see here. Sorry, guys. Hey, Kevin, thanks for joining. Joining late. Didn't see. I'm catching up to some of these comments, guys. Chaz saying, "Trust me, sending the kids off to college is way more expensive." LOL.
I have to disagree. I'm starting to think. I'm starting to think not.
blah blah blah. AB, have you connected with Filipino collectors like yourself? But you're not Filipino.
I'm Egyptian.
You're Egyptian. Okay.
Yeah. And no, I have not connected with Egyptian collectors. I don't think they
Or
exist.
Filipino collectors.
Or no, I've connected with a few Filipino.
Oh, okay.
I'm surprised the lack of Egyptian collectors. I'm pretty sure it's me and like another guy. That's it. It's just both of us.
The George Spartan. I found out why we can't get any Rolex at retail because Wilson and Amin bought them all.
I thought you bought it before then, Detroit Spartan. So you cleared out the case, and then Wilson and Amin got the scraps, and now we can't even get the scraps.
Well,
I
Keanu,
think,
Keanu Reeves did too.
The Keanu Reeves did too, right?
True.
Caliber, I buy vintage and I have been burned. Yeah, I don't touch vintage either, AB, because I just don't know much about it.
Mhm.
I will some of the watches like that Casablanca, Frank Muller Casablanca from the early 2000s. That's as far as I go. Early 2000s probably. Other
Yeah,
than that,
don't do it.
yeah,
Don't do it, man.
It's scary.
But I'll tell you what, with Frank Mueller, you're at least getting more for your money than RM. It's like the classy RM, and plus the I'm sure have you seen the Crazy Hours
Oh, I love that
complication?
complication.
Oh
I love that
man,
one.
that is a watch I don't understand why people aren't talking about. That is a sick watch.
So Frank Muller has two watches that I would want to collect in this sub collection, right? The named after places that I've been, right? So there's the Casablanca. I've been to Casablanca. They also have a Long Island line, and there is in the Long Island line they have the Crazy Hours function available. I mean, it's one of the options, and it's just such a cool concept, cool function. I mean, it's a jumping hour, but it's so cool.
So Bobby,
Yeah.
you know what? You've been cornering all three of us all night. All right, I'm gonna corner you now because you've been, forcing us to admit stuff we don't want to. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
corner you.
Yeah.
First and foremost,
Yeah.
Your GP, is that the Traveler, the World Timer?
No, it's a Seahawk. It's
Okay.
it's a dive watch. Yeah.
So I have a second question for you, and
Yeah.
because this could be a more expensive hobby for you. Okay, why don't you?
Yeah.
Instead of buying a watch per the cities you've visited,
Yeah.
why don't you buy a world timer and hit every time zone in 2022?
That'll be good.
I think
if I didn't have kids, right? I would that would be so interesting. Like my wife would be on board. We did like to we do like to travel. We just don't have the chance. But before the kids were born, we went places together. We have fun. I'm not the kind of guy who will go a week to an island and lay on the beach and be happy. That's not me. I go to my wife can do that, but my wife can also like make it into an adventure like I do. Like I like going to museums. I like going to points of interest. I like to wake up like at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning and come back at midnight. If I'm somewhere, just experiencing everything, the culture, living among the people who live there, how they live. So I'll do an Airbnb like in a neighborhood as opposed to a hotel. So that concept of getting a world timer and hitting every time zone would be awesome. I doubt I would be able to do it in a year, but for now,
no. Retirement plan. Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna
Yeah.
say it right now.
Fair enough.
When Bobby, do you guys hear that? I'm getting a call.
No.
No.
You guys
We don't hear
me?
it. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When Bobby gets his when he retires, he should get a world timer. When all the kids go to college, and he should do that. That's his retirement plan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no objection here. Kevin S. I even heard that Bobby used to like German watches back in the day. Go figure. I still do like German watches. Here's the problem. Here's another German. Are you the guy that used to collect German watches and feature them on your channel? I love German watches. The problem is that I a lot I have friends in the community, but I would just love to focus on German watches, right? but I can't get them in. I mean, people have sent them in, but I need like constant turn. I need like one German watch a week, to do some reviews, and it's just not as popular collecting wise. I mean, I know many people here in the States don't know much about German watches anyway, and I would say a good amount of collectors do, but they're just not as prolific, right? I mean, there's so many
Hey,
times you could see a Zin 104.
hey, Bobby, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry, guys. I
Yeah.
have a very important phone call.
No,
So
do
I
it,
have
man.
to go.
Do
But
it.
thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
Always love
anytime.
talking to you guys.
Yeah,
And yeah, I'll try to catch the next live.
you got it.
Thanks for having me,
Thanks.
guys.
See you
See you,
later.
Abby.
Bye.
Yeah, Abby.
Bye.
Yep. All right. And let's see here.
Easy Clayton had a funny comment.
Oh, okay. I'm catching up. Did he just say it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right.
Just
I
saw
guess
it.
it's too funny. I'm scrolling.
Where's the skip when you need it?
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. Is this it? Here,
Yeah,
before the
that's it.
kids, you had fun. There goes fresh baked cookies again. Dude, Mrs. Legs made an incredible sweet potato pie.
Yeah. I was
Oof,
watching you eat it.
Oh yeah, yeah. And there's more. I mean, she made
Oh,
like 2 of them. So after I'm done here, while I'm watching Watch Soup, I'm gonna be eating my my sweet potato pie.
Oh man.
Kevin's saying here, Bobby is just in for the travel experiences. I hope he owns a decent fanny pack, which is always helpful for traveling and watch. Jokes aside, I actually do. It's so it's like a fanny pack, right? But it wears inside your pants.
Okay. That's like the
S-
anti-pickpocket.
Yeah, exactly. So technically, I guess I do have a fanny.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes,
Where does the bulge come out of? Front or back?
wherever you want it. Wherever you
Okay.
want.
So you
Right.
keep do you keep like hundreds of banknotes in there and you accidentally put an extra $2,000 down when you purchase a watch?
No, man. I mean, just a couple of. All right, let's move on. Okay. AB, yeah, AB is a great guess. Yeah, where's inside? Like, so, like, you just like, you have your underwear, then you put like this little. It's like much thinner than like the fanny pack that you're thinking of that has like it's like a big bulge. You know what I mean? It's very flat, and you just like slip in a couple of coins and bills and a credit card or two. That's
It's not going well, Bobby. I'm
no,
sorry.
no, it's not. It's okay. So fanny pack. All right, moving on. Anyway, um, I'm a loss for words. I'm still trying to get over the fanny pack thing. Dib. Okay, let's get
Mhm.
back to you. I wanna wrap this up. Mrs. Dib is moving in. How much do you think that's going to be affecting your collecting going out next year?
I think I'll have to put a. I can't do those impulse purchases anymore. I have to
Yeah.
think before I hit. I have a very loose connection between the brain and my hands when it comes to buying stuff. But yeah, this time I'll actually have to think. Okay, do I want to keep something for a while, or essentially learning self-control, which is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That has never been my strong suit. I like it, I buy. Oh, me like it, buy. That's essentially me.
Yeah.
You have seen countless times how many times Toppers has been my best friend, or I have been one of their good customers. Friday drop,
Hmm.
buy. Uh, it's gonna change.
Thomas is asking, hey Thomas, thank you for the super chat. What was the best Black Friday deal that you saw? Now, Dib, I know you're constantly looking like all of us are. Was there one that stood out to you?
There was one from a dealer in New Jersey who sent out an email to existing customers who were offering 40% off all their watches. Now they carry Hamilton, Bremont, Ball,
Mm-hmm.
Mont Blanc, and
Yeah.
Luminox if somebody actually wants to buy that.
Yeah.
But though they had a very good sale. What I usually find during Black Friday is you get better deals on accessories, straps, watch winders,
Yeah.
watch
point.
scrolls. Those are the stuff which I usually hunt for, especially during Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I don't really go looking for watch deals per se, because jewelry stores, they don't really have to follow the we need a Black Friday discount for
Yeah.
Omegas or Breitlings or whatever
Yeah.
it is. So they'll always have customers coming in for that.
Yep. Sanjay, anything?
I actually saw Railmaster on sale. It was the one with the Alcantara case, so
Yeah.
like the newer Railmaster. I think it was like 40 off. So I was semi tempted, but yeah, it's not that good of a deal if you consider gray market prices and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was the gray, like the gray denim dial,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Interesting one.
Penny asking tough question for Rob. Rolex greater than German watches? No, I think they both can exist in my world equally in equal footing. Okay. Dib has toppers on speed dial, of course.
Actually, during the month of October, I did, because I think out of 4 weeks, I bought thrice.
Yeah,
so
there's some good
each
deals.
Friday there were. So
Yeah.
okay, sorry, September twice, October thrice. So 5 watches in 5 weeks.
You're prolific, man.
Uh,
It's awesome. It's awesome. Like you and Sanjay, you guys are pros. I gotta tell you, it's awesome. I'm
Or
so fortunate. No.
but Sanjay is the sort of person who keeps giving back to his AD. I don't really give back to anyone. Just my bank account. Please, money come back in.
And thank you. Now is just a good time for him and to do Rolex. German watches will have their day. Absolutely. Dib, buy your wife a Rolex. She will support your hobby 100%.
I don't have money.
On that note, Dib, you have the last word. Hey guys, it's almost at the top of the hour here at 9:00. Please make sure you go over to Sanjay's channel to check out Watch Soup. I'm sure it's going to be awesome, like it always is. Sanjay, thank you for joining in there and being my backup just in case.
Yeah, of course, man.
Dib, awesome. Thank you for coming back again, and have a safe trip. AB,
Thank
you're
you.
out there. Thank you for joining on. And I'm Bobby Legs, and we will see you on Wednesday for a collection review from our friend Paul. So you're gonna miss it, Dib. You're gonna miss it.
Well, I'll watch it on rewind, but it's
That's true.
only tagged, so I'm not missing anything.
Have a good night, guys. Take care.
See you a lot.
Hey guys.
Bye.